first thing I'm going to do is pick the bulb that has the biggest potential genetics. And you do that by just simply selecting the biggest bulb. This is just simple selective breeding. We've been doing this as humans since we started first gardening. Now I'm going to just carefully peel the skin off because I don't want to damage the cloves. Pull the cloves apart. Got to be careful not to damage anything. And now I'm going to pick the biggest clove out of those two cloves. Now I could plant either one and both of them will be just fine. But I want to pick the largest clove to maximize the largest bulb. I prepared the bed with compost and started laying out the grid. This gives kind of a visual representation of how the grid works. If I want a 2-inch spacing, I would plant in every cup. If I want a 4-inch spacing, I would skip every other cup. And if I want a 6-inch spacing, I want to skip 2 cups and plant in the next cup. So that's how the egg carton method works. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, you're trying to do a halfway decent job here. Next, I go ahead and I start planting the garlic cloves. You want to put the root side down and the pointed side up. I'm using a 4-inch spacing and I'm filling every other hole, and I skipped a row to get a 4-inch spacing in between the rows also. Next, I simply cover up the garlic. This bed had corn in it and I chopped it up and used it as a mulch and covered that up with autumn leaves. This bed is planted and ready for winter. Alright, so this is one of the garlic beds. Now it's entirely possible I may end up losing these tops, but that's okay. As long as the roots are in good shape, everything will be fine there. This is a leftover cabbage, hard as a rock. Why do we want to harvest our garlic scapes? The plant is getting toward the end of its life, the plant itself, and it is putting all of its energy into reproduction. Well, we want that energy for our uses to be put into the bulb. Really, the sooner the better. The longer you leave it on, the smaller your potential size of the garlic is going to be. You can leave it on until its first curl. And all you got to do to get them is just clip it off at the base of the leaf. Oh man. I like garlic. Oh, so good. Now that I got the scapes off of there, that's a pretty nice little harvest. I'll make a nice dinner. I'm going to go in. I'm going to take this tool here, and I'm just going to go around and just loosen up the soil a little bit. And just loosen it up so that the garlic itself has all the room that it needs in order to expand to its maximum possible size. I'm going to give it a very, very light fertilizing. I'm not looking to do a lot. I just want to make sure that while these things are doing what they're supposed to be doing, they have the food that they need to get to their maximum size. I'm going to put just a tiny bit of bone meal in here. Like I said, I'm not really trying to, this isn't like a big time fertilizing. This is a last hurrah fertilizing here. I have a watering can that has some homemade liquid fertilizer in it. And I'm just going to put that down in there. From this point on, we're pretty much going to let this dry out and do its thing. So is this garlic ready to be harvested? It's pretty much all dry. This garlic is ready to be harvested. Let's go ahead and start pulling garlic. Whew, look at that. Look at that garlic. Wow, that's a nice one. Yeah, even the outside skin is starting to dry, so I better get these out of here. Ooh, look at that. These are definitely some of the largest garlic I have ever grown. Look at the size of this thing. Look at the size of this thing. Or this one. Holy cow. I'm going to throw this one on the scale. That is just huge. Look at this. Well, not every one of them, but there are, I mean, these are just monsters. This is the difference that removing the scape and not removing the scape can make. This one has a scape and this one does not. Remove the scape.